All right, welcome in on National Signing Day. Good afternoon, Michigan football. It's a special day as we kick this one off, the early signing period. A lot of players accepting the challenge, and they'll be with the Maize and Blue for the 2024 class, and we've got a lot to do with you here. We are pleased right off the jump to bring in one of the newest additions to the Wolverines who's on the line with us, and that is Dominic Nichols, who is with us. Dominic, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Congratulations. What's the day been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been great. Just a lot of relief, really.
Yeah, well, tell me, relief. You know, you committed to the Wolverines a while back. What in the summer? Actually, first couple of days of summer back in June. From that day to now, was it more nerve-wracking there? More of a relief today? Take us through that a little bit.
I mean, it was just. I mean, obviously, it's something you dream of, and obviously, nothing's guaranteed till you sign that paper online, and it definitely feels great to sign that paper. I was committed for a while now, and I mean, Michigan's a great school, and they're great at football, so what's there not to like?
Well, I don't see anything not to like, and, you know, they're doing pretty good on the field. You know, when you look at this year's team, is there a player out there in the position? You know, it says, you know, strong side defensive end. Is that like a Derek Moore, who's also you know, from your neck of the woods? Would you say that's kind of the position that you're looking at?
Yeah, Derek Moore. Yeah, just because he's from. I mean, it obviously helps knowing that he's from the DMV area down in Baltimore. He went to St. Francis, which is like 15 minutes away from me, which is great. I mean, he's doing great up there. So good to see that.
He is doing great. You guys have some of the same measurables as well. Tell us, what kind of player are you? I mean, when you hit the field, you flip the switch. What's your mentality as a football player?
Yeah, definitely physical and fast. I mean, the dude's only going to want to hit you so much. So just keep running at him, I guess. That's how I play. I like hitting people.
What struck you when you came to Michigan? Tell us the first time when you visited, who you hung out with, the coaches you interacted with, and anything that is memorable for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I had my OB with like Justin Scott, who didn't end up coming, but David also was with me, who ended up flipping from USC, which is great because me and David were really close. But I'm probably the closest with Devin Baxter, because I played his team twice before we were even committed, and then when we were both like Michigan's a top school, we got pretty close. And I mean, we've been close. I'm close to Coach Roney, Coach Elston, Coach Minner have all done a great job of recruiting me and all the other edges in the class, and we all feel really comfortable with them.
Yeah, a real Maryland pipeline. So, you know, Devin Baxter from Maryland. Give me a scouting report on Baxter and what Wolverine fans can expect from your future teammate.
Yeah, I mean, he's fast, he's twitchy, and he can bend. I mean, he can do it all. All he's got to do is put some weight on, and he'll be good. I mean, I can see me and him starting. I mean, even the other end that committed today is a dog. They're all really good.
You know, those are all buzzwords that we like: bendy, twitchy, dogs. I mean, that's all good stuff, Dominic. What do you think of Michigan's matchup against Alabama on New Year's Day?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with Michigan winning, but I mean, it's Alabama. It's going to be a close game, but I think Michigan comes out on top, honestly. Defensive line is just, the whole defense is really playing good. And I mean, you look at how we played all year, who we played. We've beaten, like, Ohio State is kind of pretty comparable, like, athletic wise to Alabama. They've got really good receivers and a really good defense. So I think we could have definitely a good chance to win this game.
Yeah, I heard Chris Jenkins, you know, Michigan captain, on the defensive line there on Monday saying, you know, sure, let everybody talk about Alabama. They are Alabama, but he was really looking forward to showing what Michigan could do in that game. Tell me what your timeline is like when you're graduating high school, when you'll get to Ann Arbor, all that kind of good stuff.
I leave the 26th of December.
You're going to Cali?
Yeah, I am.
All right, so that's an early enrollee. Hey, and nothing like that's a little East Coast to West Coast to start things out, man. That's
yeah, that's gonna be a little weird not flying to Ann Arbor first, but it's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna have a good time with the team and just get the feeling how they take it all in. I'm really just gonna be able to see how the dudes really do it, and it's just gonna help me in the future.
I'll tell you what, that sounds like a dream come true to me, man. Going out, not just because of the weather, the Rose Bowl, the history there, the setting, what Michigan's playing. You get to see everything that's going on there. What a great learning experience. That's awesome for you. Were you always a Michigan fan growing up?
Nah, see, the funny thing is I was a Penn State fan just because family ties towards Penn State. I always thought I was going to go to Penn State. Things didn't work out there, so options opened back up, and it came down to like Michigan, Georgia, Clemson, Wisconsin, and I don't know, Michigan's edge production has just been really great.
What else besides that? I got just a question or two more for you. You know, it's always intriguing when people say, especially, you know, when you're not from the state of Michigan and you like another school, you know, you hear a million different things on what it is. You just talked about the edge production. What else made the final decision for you where you ended up picking the maize and blue?
Yeah, they made it feel like it was a family there and I was at home. I didn't feel like there's some places I just didn't feel comfortable, like knowing that I was going to have to go there and live there. Obviously, that's part of it. And there's just some places I wasn't comfortable with living there, but they made it comfortable and it felt like home. So.
Well, that's great. We wish you all the best. Where are you headed now? You get like a celebration with a family? Is it low key? I mean, what do you do when you make it official and you're a signee with the Michigan Wolverines here on December the 20th?
We're gonna have a big dinner tonight, but I got a workout to get to. So,
what kind of workout? Yeah. What are you doing today?
Today is speed work. Trying to get everything right before I leave. Just make sure I get there best condition I can.
Well, I'm sure, you know, Ben Herbert, if he's watching this, Michigan Strength and Conditioning.
Oh, he's going to get me. He's going to get me right.
Well, he's happy, to hear you're going out there and, got your priorities straight. Hey, Dominic, thanks so much for a little bit of your time. Congratulations to you. And, hey, you know what? Now that it's kind of, I haven't been saying it to everybody, but, happy holidays to you. It's, we're closing in on Christmas here. Certainly the weekend pretty quick. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, take care.
All right.
Dominic Nichols, there he is, one of the future Wolverines here on National Signing Day. Perfect way to start things up, and we've got more to come here on Good Afternoon Michigan Football. It's been a fast and furious day. This is it's good. You don't want to wake up and say, nothing really happened on National Signing Day. Well, the fax machines aren't working, or the computer just the signatures are rolling in, and then there's even more for Michigan today. It is it's a great day if you're a Michigan football fan. You figured it was probably going to be a great day, but it's even gotten better. So we are talking about National Signing Day 2023, the 2024 class, newly minted. We just heard from Dominic Nichols. That was a little bit of a surprise. He got in just a couple minutes before the show and said, yeah, I'll jump in. We will head down to Florida and talk with one of Michigan's 5 offensive line signees. Jake Guarnera is going to join us. He's expected to join us in a couple minutes. We'll talk about that Michigan offensive line. And let's kick things off now as we sit here with some transfer portal news, not just signing day. So, man, I've said this before, signing days like Christmas and your birthday. Well, when you're getting your next batch of recruits, all of these young men, signing, and now it's up to 27. We'll get to that news just in a second or two. But now you got the transfer portal. And then Michigan gets a commitment from Jaishawn Barnham, the Maryland linebacker. He says he's coming to Ann Arbor. Now, this is a great get for Michigan. I might sit back and you could say, anybody that's coming in say, wow, this is a great get. I've watched a Barnham play. I liked what he looked like and what he brings to the football field. Last week or the week before, when I was looking at Pro Football Focus, they put their first top 25 players at any position, ranked them top 25 in the transfer portal. Jaishawn Barnham was in their top 5. So Michigan is getting I don't know, what do I want to call him, a superstar? I mean, this is a star that they got a commitment from that's going to hit the field and be ready to go for the Michigan defense next year. This is a great land. I don't know. I mean, how much more can I emphasize it? Smash the table, say, this is great news. That's what it is. Spectacular news, a great land for the Wolverines, a guy that's going to come in and play linebacker, and he is a good one. So that's some great news for Michigan. How about that? And if you wanted more good news, I'm always down for National a Signing Day special. And on Monday and over the weekend, that looked like there was going to be a chance for a signing day special for Michigan back in Maryland again. Oh, there we go. Maryland with another defensive end. Is this who Nichols was talking about? Another dog? I think he called him, not me calling him. And Lugard Edokpayi. 6'6", 225 out of Bishop McNamara. He commits just a little while ago, and that runs Michigan's total up to 27. And if you're looking at the rankings, you are. Rivals.com team rankings has the Wolverines sitting there at number 11. So Michigan snatches Edokpayi, and they are bringing a lot of edges in. And I use Nichols and what he had to say. Dominic Nichols. He mentioned Devon Baxter. When you're a defensive end or a rush end and you hear guys say that they can really bend, that's coming off the edge, being able to straight line, get to the quarterback. That's nice. How do you do that when you're going around these big tackles? You bend, and you've got that speed and you have that bend. And also Dominic Nichols mentioning twitchy, all the kind of combination of things that you want to hear. You want to hear about athletic, twitchy, bend, and what else did he say about him? Oh, he said he was a dog. Those are good things. That's what you like to hear. Dogs and twitchy and bendy, and let's go. And Michigan is up to 27 and number 11, just outside of the top 10. And remember, I think it's good today when you see Michigan getting a top prize in the transfer portal of somebody they were targeting and they get him. That's as good of Michigan being able to land that linebacker from Maryland. That's like getting a 5-star today. You've already seen a year out of him out on the college football field. You know what he can do. And so I don't know, you blend those two things together. If you're somebody that's like, I want Michigan, they should be in the top 5. Yeah. I'd like Michigan to be in the top 5 too. But you know what? The top 5, that's okay. But when you're starting to talk about being able to then get into the transfer portal and help your team out that way, now you're really talking about something. Let's see if I can move this around a little bit. I thought that I was going to be able to. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right. I'll take some of your feedback. We will head down to the Sunshine State in just one moment. So that's all of the good news. I do want to say this. Is it a public service announcement? No, this is more of something to help all of you out. I went Christmas shopping yesterday for my wife. I thought really hard about what to get her, and she just finished up a double major, and so or maybe I shouldn't say what I got her in case she's watching this show. I guess there is a chance. So I'm not going to say what I got her. But my experience, the parking lot was so mad, and I thought somebody's going to get in an accident. I hope it's not me. But a hustle and bustle and everything else. And then I go into the store and I'm thinking, oh, this is going to take me forever. I walk in and there's only one person that was in there. And as soon as I walked in, the guy's like, hey, what do you need? And he couldn't, like, the help was the service. The customer service was so spectacular. He wrapped me. I was ready to go out of there with 5 minutes. Boom. I walked out of there with that prize in my hand and thought, man, what a great shopping experience. Merry Christmas. I am into the holiday spirit. What a great job. I'll say great job by me, but what a great job by being able to land the target that I had and be able to walk out with a gift that I wanted. I say all of this, so you can eliminate that parking lot. You can also get that lift of the Christmas spirit by landing the exact kind of gift that the Michigan fan in your life wants, and that might be you. Give yourself the gift of the Maize and Blue review today, or for that Michigan fan in your life. I know either or. And I think, you'll press that button, you'll get that access, and you'll go on there and you'll be like, this is Valhalla. I have made it. This is Michigan. This is Maize and Blue all the time. Join the Maize and Blue review today by going to michigan.rivals.com. It happens. It's there for you. It is exciting. That Mr. Martini, like the Dominic Nichols interview, he was in, just getting in. Eddie English likes the transfer from Maryland. You should, Eddie. Eddie, you should be very excited about the Maryland linebacker. That is all good. Gavin already making a prediction on the two deep, Barnham and Houseman. You're starting two linebackers for next year. The punters, this is one thing, and I'm with this part as well, because sometimes you say, hey, let's just stop and enjoy, where you're at. But you also, it's how recruiting works. You get that shot of adrenaline. You get that, the exhilaration. Sorry. You get the exhilaration of a commitment, and then you're like it, but then you want more. You want another one immediately. And that's what the punters is bringing to the tables here as well. He's like, we'll get that Upton Stout kid too. Upton Stout kid, a nickel from Western Kentucky. And I have to admit, things look really good for Michigan when it comes down to Stout. Now, look, if Stout wants to commit today, go ahead. Sure, no time like the present to go ahead and do it. But if he wants to, wait till tomorrow or Friday, that's fine too. But, the punters, I feel pretty good about that as well. Eddie says, what about Dominic Jackson? He would be nice also. Now, Dominic Jackson, back in the old days in recruiting, Michigan was his leader for a long time. And then he was, I don't know if it's his best friends, boys. I don't know if that's too strong of a, just conjecture on my part, with Michigan corner Will Johnson. Dominic Jackson, were they teammates at one time or something like that? You got a connection. And Dominic Jackson is in the transfer portal. When you look at Michigan and you look at the chance to come in and be part of something, Jackson on one side and Johnson on the other. Now, this was a dream a couple years ago, because people were saying They were saying it. I wasn't. Could you imagine Dominic Jackson on one side and Will Johnson on the other? If they would lock down not only the Big Ten, but the country. If those two guys were you just put those guys on an island. Not only would you have one number one cornerback, you would have two cornerback ones. And I was thinking, it's nice to dream. Okay, he really likes Michigan and everything else, but then he went to USC. But the dream is back. And if your dream doesn't happen, then it can happen. And I think as Eddie is talking about, I think the possibility of being able to land Dominic Jackson is there. And it's out there, and it could happen. Blank name. Looking at the edge guys, he likes the size at 6'6" or taller. I see what you're talking about in where you're at. Gavin's looking at some of the particulars. He says they need a 6'4", 6'6" wide receiver in the portal. Gavin, is that what you're asking for from Santa? Not Santa Ono. I mean, from St. Nick? Are you asking for a big target? You might get what you're asking for. That's more than a stocking stuffer. You might get the wide receiver you desire, and it could happen before Sunday morning. Is Sunday Christmas? I keep confusing myself. Monday is Christmas. It could happen on Monday. I don't know. I should be able to work it out. But with Christmas on a Monday, it's a little goofy for me. It happens. Richard is talking about another Turner in the portal. There's the portal is alive with tons of players. Here we've got a hope and a prayer this holiday season from A Vapor. A Vapor hopes and prays that the Michigan Wolverines will win. Well, as a strategy, hope, prayer is telling the man upstairs, you just pray, give Michigan a chance to win a national championship. Give Michigan the opportunity in the national championship. I've been asking Santa Claus, you're even going higher than that? A Vapor, taking it all the way upstairs? I've been looking to the North Pole. You've been looking to the sky. A hope and a prayer. I think that we're all with you when it comes down to what you're praying for. BN on the feedback. He wants Dominic Jackson. Calls him an elite pro. Physically is an elite pro. Just has to work on the mental part of the game. Yeah, it's what can we say here, blank name? He's got ties with Will Johnson. We've talked about that. We talked about that during the recruitment. And what you're saying, the coaching that he may desire, he's a fit. That's important. What Michigan has going, getting to the college football playoffs, playing for a national championship, all players want that. That's a fit. I'll check that box there for Dominic Jackson. And the coaching could be that last piece that he is looking for. And with Steve Clinkscale, I tell you, if I was, you think about this, it's kind of like, if I won the lottery, sometimes you think if I was a recruit, but I'll act like I won the lottery for a second. If I won the lottery and I got on the phone with Steve Clinkscale, I don't think I would be able to hang up without committing to him. Clink has a magnetism. He is somebody that makes you want to get out on the field and play immediately. He is a real draw. for any prospective DB, but especially one that has all of the tools, that wants to play on Sundays, and before he gets there, wants to play on the big stage in the college football playoff and try to win a national championship. So yeah, that part is can happen. I'm getting close enough here where I think, Mr. Martini saying that, he wants a natty. I do too. Dennis, can a signee play in the Rose Bowl? No, but they can practice with the team. And Cole Sullivan, who I talked with earlier, linebacker out of Pennsylvania, was said the same thing as Dominic Nichols. He's flying out with the team. He'll be on the sideline of the Rose Bowl, and you're able to get out there and whatever you get. You know what it is? It's invaluable. It reminds me a little bit of September call-ups in baseball. You get a guy, and even if he's not going to help you win a pennant, he is able to get down in the dugout and watch. If he's a pitcher, the guys go through their routines of their off days and what they do on the side and their workouts. And then they see how they act in the clubhouse, in the dugout, with the media, with the fans. They see it all, how they travel. I mean, I guess you guys understand all of this. And so this kind of experience of being in the Rose Bowl as a high school player, of indoctrinating yourself into Michigan football and the culture, I can't think of anything better. I mean, I feel like these people know, and I won't do it. I won't sit around talking about the Rose Bowl for 20 straight minutes. But I can't think of anything more perfect than heading out with Michigan as they prepare to take on Alabama. What are we talking about? A week from this Monday in the Rose Bowl. And to see the preparations. Dominic Nichols, watching Derek Moore. You're watching Braden McGregor. You're coming up talking about with Jalen Harrell and saying, hey, stop that quarterback, Milroe. Get him on the ground. I would be pretty pumped. It would be perfect. OT, not so fast. Jackson's not on the Johnson level. Rob putting his Christmas wish list together. He would love to see Damani over any other player out there now. Wow. Yes, even if they're enrolled, they can't play. That is true. I would not argue with the punter's feedback here, who says it's clear that Michigan wants a linebacker. They just got a corner stout that they're in on and wide receiver. And they're in on multiple big wide receivers. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that is spot on. That's it. Let's see what Andres is saying. I want from St. Nick is for defense to suit up and walk out of that tunnel of Chrysler Center. Maybe we can win a basketball game. I would not mind putting on the maize and blue and coming out of the tunnel and playing out on the floor. Now you're talking. Now we are dreaming. We're talking about practice, not the game, but for the players. Let's see. I want Roman Wilson to drink the Kool-Aid. Now, if you don't know what, this is kind of a sly bit of feedback. Alabama has two outstanding corners. One of those corners I have liked without ever watching him play before he even hit the field because of his name. Kool-Aid. Ministry? Is that his name? I can remember watching the Alabama spring game, and I believe I was upset with Jim Harbaugh. So this had to be the pandemic year where Harbaugh did not allow anybody to go into the spring game. And that upset me. You had the, everybody just wanted to see the maize and blue out there in the field. They weren't, gleaning anything with the spring game, but there was the pandemic. And, so Harbaugh's like, no spring game. So I'm mad. But Alabama, they have their spring game and they're televising it. And the first thing I hear is Nick Saban yelling, Kool-Aid! Get over here. And so and I'm like, this guy's name's Kool-Aid. And so I followed him ever since. Now, Kool-Aid's a good corner. But I would like you, Mr. Bebop Blue, to see Roman Wilson work over Kool-Aid. We have a connection with one of the Michigan offensive linemen who is going to join us momentarily. He has just texted to say he is hooking up right now. So we will talk with one of the future Wolverines in just 1 second. While we do that, let's just see here if I can pop this up. I can. Well, let's see if I can work. See if I can work the 1s and 2s here. I'm going to have to stop that for just 1 second. As you were, I'm going to go to it again. It's going to take me 1 second. I like to be able to put some more graphics up here, and to be able to do that, I'm going to put this up here. There's Dominic Nichols, Bagel, Jeremiah Lowe, David Pauly, Zach Ludwig, working through some of the Wolverines right now. Dominic Nichols, who we just talked with to start this show. Nichols talked about Devon Baxter, also from Maryland. He's listed at 6'7", not too shabby. Michael Capana, remember when he committed that there was a lot of people that were like, well, this guy's not that highly committed or regarded, and then he ended up moving up the charts. And for a Wolverine that has signed on the dotted line, we now go, I believe, down to Florida, and Jake Guarnera joins us. Now, Jake, first things first, thanks for joining us. Did I get your name right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Guarnera.
Guarnera. Okay, well, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Because, I don't get that right.
Yep, there you go.
Well, congratulations. What's today been like for you?
So, I woke up, met with one of my coaches. We just went out to breakfast, and then I just got back from school. So that's what I was doing today.
Now, the first thing that jumps out, we're going to talk about you specifically, but this Michigan recruiting class, now your class of 2024, you're not the only offensive lineman. There's not 2, 3, 4, there's 5, which, if I'm not mistaken, I know Michigan puts a jumbo package and everything out there, but that consists of a starting offensive line. And I'm sure that's not lost on you that there's 4 other offensive linemen that are coming in along with you this year.
Yeah, we're really excited. We got Blake who's coming early. We're going to be rooming together, so that's going to be cool. And then we got Ben Sprague and Luke that's coming in the summer.
You mentioned you already know who you're rooming up with there. Are you coming in early and heading out to the Rose Bowl on the 26th?
Yes, sir. Yep, flying right out to LA on the 26th.
So what's going to happen there? You get to go out and watch practice, and you're going to be on the sideline. That sounds like a great experience. What are they telling you about that experience of being able to go out there?
So I'll actually be practicing with the team. So I'll be, doing like my helmet and my helmet days, and then also my helmet and shoulder pad days, and then I'll be on the sideline with the jersey and sweatpants, watching the game.
That sounds like I don't know. There's a lot of you can't control everything, but it sounds like the perfect way to start things out in your college career. Going into the college football semifinal in the Rose Bowl against Alabama. I mean, it's perfect. Are you going to be? Do you think you're going to be a center, a guard? You know yet? I mean, what's your best guess?
Yeah, they're telling me center, so that's what I'm expecting.
So Michigan last year they had Oluwatimi. He was great, and now they have Drake Nugent. He's great. I mean, there's these guys. What do you make of the center position and the success that Michigan has had with their linemen? Probably one of the reasons that you ended up ultimately picking Michigan.
Yeah, it's great to see that, coming in as a freshman, you just want to kind of replicate their success, and you want to continue on the thing that center is the position at Michigan that excels. You want to keep continuing that legacy of offensive line, and how great it is at Michigan.
Are you a center now? Were you in high school at all?
Yeah, so I played tackle my first 3 years, and then I moved to center this senior year.
So did you guys do the Philly shove at all? Like
we had a little sneak play, but it wasn't like quite like that. But yeah, we did run like a QB sneak a couple times.
What's amazing about that, just for 1 second, is that like all of these other teams try to do it, and then they still nobody's been able to figure like, well, why is Philly so good at it? And I keep saying, well, Kelsey, their center, he's one of the best centers ever. He's an all-pro. So it would start there. And Jalen Hurts, I remember when he was at Alabama and he was like, I don't know what he was squatting, but it looked like, I don't know, 600 pounds or something. That would seem like a really good start. Like, what do you make of the shove and all of the things that go into it?
I mean, I think that, the Eagles should still be able to run it. I don't think they should ban it just because Philadelphia is so good at running it. I mean, if it was if it was such a good play, everyone else would have been super successful at running it and stuff. But you see these other teams try and do it, and it's not working as well. So you need the right people to be running it.
You're from a beautiful area in Florida. What attracts a kid from the Sunshine State to look to Ann Arbor, Michigan?
I think the development and, the relationships I already had with the commits coming in. Coach Herb was a big part, and Coach Moore, just, what they've been doing with putting out NFL talent and stuff like that.
If you talk to one Michigan football player, they like talking about Sharon Moore, and they love talking about Ben Herbert. So, you're right there, talking about those guys. What about when you were young? Like, did you like Michigan? What's the first time you remember watching, Michigan and feeling like, hey, they're pretty cool?
I mean, honestly, when I went to go visit for the Hawaii game, because when I grew up, I was like a Rutgers fan because my dad went to Rutgers. So, yeah, so probably like the Hawaii game was the first time I really started taking notice. I think when they made the playoffs that year with Hutchinson too, that's kind of when I started noticing.
Yep. So you're going out to the Rose Bowl. What about so high school? Does that chapter over? I mean, you're just now. I mean, so the 26th we're talking about. Just next week. I mean, you got to be finished up and ready to go, huh?
Yeah. So tomorrow's my last day. I kind of just go in and hang out because I'm kind of finished up with everything. But yeah, I got all my graduation stuff ready and I'm ready to go.
Man, what a 2 days for. What are you doing today? What are you gonna have, a little dinner?
I got something for my area is a top 25 team at the Jag Stadium, and then our basketball team's got a game tonight that I'm gonna go to.
All right, and then your final day of school, you walk around, just hit the professors one last time, shake some hands, and then that's it. Huh? Out the door.
Yeah.
You're on to college, huh? Is this kind of how you have thought it was going to happen for a couple of years now? How your timeline was, and obviously you didn't know you're going to be heading out to the Rose Bowl, but give me a thought on that.
Well, I kind of just got the early enrollment idea probably last year. I just thought it was a good fit for me to go early and kind of get integrated in with the team. But in terms of my decision timeline, I was expecting to make a decision after my officials, but kind of got pushed up, and I felt like I made the right choice.
Have you talked with? I just got a question or two more for you. Have you talked with the other offensive linemen about, hey, there's 5 of us. Wouldn't that be cool if like all 5 of us, were able to, get out there, I'd center your guard and, talking about the tackles? Because it seems like you could, make a left to right with this class.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. We just all want to come in and, help the team any way we can. So, I think it'd be awesome if that could happen. But, obviously we want the best 5 out there, and, we're all going to work hard to get out there.
It sounds great. Well, hey, Jake, we appreciate your time. Best of luck. Enjoy the rest of the day. I mean, like you always remember the day that you signed, and then you remember your last day of high school, and then on to the Rose Bowl. What a great week for you. Enjoy it. We can't wait to see you. Maybe we'll see you over there on the sideline, and we'll say, oh, yeah, he was on the Maize and Blue Review. But then in the future, obviously, we will see you in Ann Arbor. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jake Guarnera, Michigan center and signee. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.
Yes, sir.
There he is. How about it, everybody? Get on in and tell us what you think. Richard, throwing it out there saying, hey, welcome in. Mark, you know what, Mark? You had a question, and I missed it. I'm sorry. I do apologize for that. I was trying to throw some of them up there, and I did not get it. Mark, you ask questions when the film is on, and I try to get those in there as well. But sometimes you're talking about, hey, get the film from 3 games ago when we're on the current film. Those questions, even though you think that I don't see them, and sometimes I don't answer them, I do relay those to the coaches and the guests. Could he discuss nutrition? What's he done so far? Is it different from what he's had? That was a good question. This is probably a good one too. Hey, you be aware, when you're in Florida, that you got to bring the winter coat. So that's it. Now let's check and just see what else is happening here, because my phone is on. I put it on silent mode. I don't want it buzzing out too much. See what other kind of text I've got rolling. That one's from Jake. There's my niece, my mother. We got a lot. It says a busy day. All right. So that's it. For those that missed the start of the show, let's just go back and recap where we are at. Okay. Michigan has got a signee from today. There's Jake. And that was Lugard Edokpayi. Edokpayi is a 4-star defensive end, 6'6", out of Forestville, Maryland. He commits today and signs today. We call that a signing day special. And with Michigan's 27th commitment, that moves the Wolverines and puts them at number 11 in the Rivals.com team rankings. So it's all great. And, this class is in and you're feeling pretty good about it. And then, boom, transfer portal news coming in. One of the top transfers that you could land at any position is Jaishawn Barnham, and Michigan gets a commitment from him today. The former Maryland linebacker Jaishawn Barnham commits to Michigan. So that's some big time transfer portal news as we get ready to go in. And Mr. Martini is right. Harbaugh is going into Maryland and just taking what he wants. And here we go, 27-17, a prediction. I'd take that right now. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't take that one now? Mark with another question. Is there a Rose Bowl travel limit? Discuss the turf, the grass, or the turf, Bermuda or bluegrass. Bama has Bermuda. I did not think about the turf, but I believe it is grass in the Rose Bowl, but I'm not sure about the type of grass. As far as a Rose Bowl travel limit, I'm just going to guess here, but with everything that goes on with recruiting, I think that you could bring, you want to, and then you have the preferred walk-ons, everything else. I think everybody's going, but that's just me. Like, what a treat. There's a part of me that thinks, man, if somebody toiled on the scout team and was a walk-on and went all the way through this, because you don't get to travel necessarily to, road games. There is a travel limit there. So but a bowl game, maybe everybody does. That would be sweet. That's it. Richard, wagering a guess on the grass. Bluegrass, he's saying in Cali. John Harbaugh, being the Ravens coach, may be helpful in pulling some of those players in from Maryland. Sam, great point. I don't know. Stanford wide receiver and Wake Forest wide receiver. They're in on some tall wide receivers, in on both of those guys. I would imagine that they'll be able to get one. Prescription turf, high-end turf. Yeah, I'm going to stop the turf talk there. I'm not sure. Like I said, I think it's grass. I don't know the particular kind, but what you're saying, if Richard sounds sure of himself, there you go. Jay Lim just jumping in. He's Kentucky Bluegrass in the Rose Bowl. When I was in college, I knew a guy that he had his own Kentucky Bluegrass, but it wasn't blue. I don't know. That's it. That's it from the joke department today. Okay, thank you. If you want to hear more player interviews, head to YouTube or the podcast. I talked with a few different players earlier, including Jordan Marshall, Owen Wafel. There in a few others. Cole Sullivan, I mentioned him earlier. How about we just run down the class right now and we give you a thought. Sam, the Rose Bowl is natural grass. He's going to look it up for us. Commonly Bermuda, but they once changed it to bluegrass. Michigan played on that at Penn State. Andre saying it's not golf. The grass doesn't matter. As long as it's not slick like the Fiesta Bowl, we're good. Yeah, it was slick. It's a great point. Now, that sounds like an excuse, and I would even put it in that category myself, but didn't they play the Super Bowl, Andres, as well, in that same field, on that same slick? And they were complaining about it too. So, sometimes it's a reason, but there we go. Let's run through the class really quick and see if we give you some thoughts. Jordan Marshall, Mr. Football in Ohio, guy like some of the past winners, Charles Woodson, Joe Burrow. Jordan Marshall was looking good at his high school today with his maize cap on, and he had a sweet suit on. I mean, Marshall looked like a pro and sounded like a pro. Not like so much like these high school kids now, they have been through so much media. These guys are just on top of their game. You wanted to call Jaden Davis the jewel of this class? Certainly the quarterbacks. They're the leaders. And the quarterback from Providence Day in Charlotte, North Carolina, there you go. He's in. I'm excited to see, like everyone else, Jaden Frazier. There's one of the ballyhooed big fellas up front. His dad, of course, playing at Michigan on the 97 championship team. Here's somebody from the state of Michigan. The Wolverines have been doing such a good job with the tight end position. That was not lost on the 4-star out of Rochester Hills Adams, Brady Priestcorn, who is in on this class. He's a stud. Amarian Stewart is as well. He just looks like he's ready to go and contribute immediately. Mason Curtis, if I'm not mistaken, the outside linebacker from Nashville, Tennessee, was the first commitment a long time ago. back in the summer of 2022, June 27th. Luke Hamilton out of the Buckeye State, 4-star, Avon, Ohio. One of the 5 big uglies, although he looks pretty good in his picture right there, so he might argue about me calling him that. It's meant to be a positive. Tight end position, we already mentioned that. Here's another 4-star. This guy could be a superstar. Hogan Hansen. If I was, dreaming up names for football players and a tight end and somebody threw Hogan Hansen at me, I'd say, sounds like a good tight end. Ted Hammond out of Cincinnati. Boy, Michigan has done a good job down in Ohio. 4-star defensive end. What's not to like about this kid? 6'5", 265. Let's go. Jacob Oden could be on this feed a little bit later on today. I've been in contact with him, the 6'1" safety prospect out of Harper Woods, committed early, and he was doing all he could to help others in this class. Great job there. His dad played at Michigan. There's another one of the outstanding offensive linemen out of Ohio. Little theme there. Bad day for the Buckeyes. Seeing their talent head north. They're crying. Missouri, Andrew Sprague. Michigan has a really good offensive line. They have had good offensive lines in this 3-year run, and it is not lost on me that in recruiting, they are just reloading with the big fellows up front. None bigger than Sprague, 6'8", 290. If you told me that when he starts playing, when he's a sophomore, or as Keith Jackson would say, a sophomore, that he could be over, 315, something like 6'8", 315, Andrew Sprague, I'd say I could see that. Cole Sullivan, I talked with him earlier. He was wearing a Pittsburgh Penguins shirt. And that dude's jacked. He looks like he's ready to go. He'll also fly out and be on the sideline for Michigan in the Rose Bowl and watch him practice and participate in a little bit. He liked the Steelers. He pointed to guys, that were his favorite. James Harrison, the great linebacker. And then, he said he liked TJ Watt. A TJ Watt, James Harrison type. Boy, if he could be any combination of those two for U of M, now you're talking. Owen Wafel. This guy again. I talked with him this morning, 6'2", 290. As you look at me, you're looking at me from about the chest up. And you say, hey, you could do to lose some weight, whatever. Wafel looked like he had put 2 softballs under his shirt. I was looking at his shoulders and thinking, that kid is put together. Defensive tackle. 6'2", 290. A Mason Graham type. That's what Jason is saying right there. I like it. I don't think that Barner's coming back. So what do we got? A Barn. They got the linebacker coming in, and then you've got Barnhart, Barner, and then the linebacker that's just committed from Maryland out of the transfer portal. That could be a lot of killer bees for U of M. And here's a killer bee himself, right out of Belleville. Jeremiah Beasley, 4-star linebacker. This guy, I'm going to go ahead and put the seal of approval of thinking that this guy is ready-made and is going to be an impact player. Everything that I have ever heard, what I have seen, my gut feel is that Beasley is going to be a good one. Here's somebody I'm going to be rooting for, Josiah Edmond. Michigan was playing a dance with a couple of those Buckeye corners. Scott, I forget who the other dude was. And then Edmond was ready, and I want Edmond to be better than both of those dudes. And I'll be rooting for that. The 6'1" corner out of Indiana. We just talked with Jake Guarnera from Ponte Vedra down in the Sunshine State. He's good to go. He'll be out in Pasadena with Michigan, flying out on the 26th. Here's Jaden Davis's teammate at Providence Day in North Carolina, 6'1", 175, wide receiver prospect. Here's another outside linebacker down to Charlotte, North Carolina, Jaden Smith, 6'3", 190. They'll develop him. Here's one that was off everyone's radar and people were crying about it, maybe myself included, Michael Capana. But then he just went off this year, and it wouldn't surprise me. You put him in the sleeper category, but, he could be as good as anybody in this class. And people that watch his tape seem to like him. Devon Baxter, these defensive ends. Look at this one. Maryland, twitchy. He has bend, and he's a dog. That's not what I say about him. That's what Dominic Nichols said about his future teammate. Look at Baxter, 6'7", 230. Dominic, 6'3", 245. Michigan, a couple of dogs there. Manuel Bagel, got to work on his photo right there. That looked like me for a few years on Facebook. I was just like, here, I'm on Facebook. Take it in. There's still some people that there's a part about it, like people are just like, you know what? No, I'm not putting my photo up there. This is what you will get. Bagel out of, I think he is from Germany, but so now he is in Connecticut. And we'll have to wait and see on Bagel. Jeremiah Lowe, couple Jeremiahs in this class. Another corner here. Corner from Frederick Douglass in Lexington, Kentucky. Nice measurables there, 5'11", 170. A flip just this week. David Polly committed to USC, said, forget that, I'm going to Michigan. Probably started watching some film and said, you know what? Graham, Brayshawn, Benny, Chris Jenkins, Kenneth Grant. I'm 6'3", 300. I could see myself in the maize and blue. Boom. Plus, you know what? If you commit as a defensive lineman or a defensive player to USC, why would you do that? You're going into the softest a reputation. You want to go into a place that is producing hard-nosed, trench players that can play at the next level? Or do you want to go to the softest defense in the country? Come on, that was a no-brainer. Polly flipped to go to Michigan. Smart move. And then the intrigue of all intrigues is Zach Ludwig out of South Park, Pennsylvania. We'll see with this outside linebacker, 6'2", 205. He's got ties with the strength and conditioning coach, Herbert. And let's see. There's more than 8 enrollees now. Couple other ones that you put on there. There's Nichols. And also Sullivan. So I'm up to 9 of the early enrollees. Maybe there'll be more. Maybe those guys can make a late decision. Let's take some feedback. Cameron, why is Michigan recruiting class so low? Well, because what it happens, let's explain it. You're Michigan and you have your approach with recruiting, and that approach is we're going to play it by the rules. We have NIL that you can get when you're here, and you will be rewarded. Other schools have a different approach, which is illegal. And according to NCAA rules, much more a higher violation than advanced scouting, which, obviously where Michigan is at. This is one thing that should tick you off as a Michigan fan. It gives you fuel when anybody's coming in and talking about advanced scouting and all this to say, would you rather have Michigan just level 1 and cheat up like everyone else? Would that make you feel like a lot better? They tried to work around a rule and went and tried to do some different things to give an advantage? Would you rather they just flat out and went and were bag you? The teams that are higher, Cameron, bag yous are saying before they're like, here's your big bags of cash. And now they're saying, hey, we promise you the money, which is against the rules. And all of the teams that are in front of Michigan are big fat cheaters. They can say, stop. I'm just stating the facts. That's why. But part of Michigan's approach, look, I don't know what it, exactly at all, but I think philosophically they're like, let's hit the transfer portal. Guys that are all out there, we don't have to illegally against the rules like all the other big fat cheaters, especially the ones that are calling us big fat cheaters. No, you're the big fat cheaters. And if we're weighing the discretions here, yours are bigger and fatter. Look at the NCAA handbook, level 1 violation, paying recruits, promising recruits. That's like number 1 on the first page of the handbook. That's why Michigan's recruiting class is low. But fret not, Cameron, because you combine the transfer portal with the recruiting class, and it puts Michigan in the top 5. And then when Michigan, and we'll see how they're able to do this year with some of their players, and if they're able to retain some of the guys that in other years would be heading to the pros, then that also is going to help them. And I would also include that in any kind of talk like Michigan's recruiting class is so low. Well, they're paying the guys on the back end, and the other teams are illegally paying guys at the front end. So that's it. That's why. That's what's going on. So there it is. Okay. The day continues on. See if we can land some more interviews for you on this very feed. We'll get them up on the podcast for you as well. You can check those out. Happy National Signing Day to all of you. And then getting in with the portal news as well. And then, football. It's inching closer. The Rose Bowl. I mean, you can taste it. And we've got a few things to distract us in the meantime. Thanks so much for joining us. We will talk with you again, if not in just a few minutes here on this feed, talking with some of the signees, then certainly Friday, right back here on Good Afternoon Michigan Football. I'll see you on the Maize and Blue Review on the Den, talking about these recruits all day and all night. So hope to see you there as well when you reward yourself with that Christmas present of the person that you're looking at in the mirror. Take care, everybody.